Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar from Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in lovely Lauderdale by the Sea. A little cool out there this morning, 54 degrees, 53 degrees actually, and you should see the locals that grew up down here walking around in winter coats today. So, great day out there. I hope you're enjoying your day, and it looks like the holidays are coming up soon. Next week, actually, this is the final weekend before the holidays, and today is our wrap up for the rest of the week. Not really the wrap up, but the morning assessment of Friday and what might happen on Monday. First, I'm going to move into cryptos again, and I hate to keep doing this. I feel like some people are going to think I'm dissing cryptos, which is completely not the truth. It's farthest from the truth. I think there's a great place for cryptocurrencies in the future. I just see some potential problems and issues that not many people in the crypto world are really willing to talk about, or they kind of brush it off like it's nothing. And these are important issues, and I'm going to go over them one more time again real quickly here. Um, Here's one of the big things that I believe. I believe that Bitcoin is ultimately dead, and there's a couple reasons that I believe that. However, there's tons of people making tons of money on it right now. So, that market, in my opinion, it's in a bubble. But you make money in bubbles, and if you know what you're doing, and a lot of these guys that are crypto traders do know what they're doing out there. They're not kind of people that just throw something in there, don't watch it, and then they go back to the open up their account and they see there's nothing there because it crashed. These guys are checking out the markets daily. It requires some work. One of the commenters on my past videos says, you just buy cryptos, it's easy, you make money. I'm sorry, there's nothing that easy. When you're in a bull market, everything is easy. So even in a gold bull market or a stock bull market, everything looks easy, but all of a sudden one day it ain't easy. So that's kind of misleading, actually very misleading, to just say buy cryptos and they keep going up. That's the appearance, and that's what a bubble always looks like. And why do I think that Bitcoin is going to have big problems? The private cryptos are going to have big problems in the future. A couple things. Here's one of the number one reasons. First off, J.P. Morgan is involved with Bitcoin and cryptos, where you can pretty much kiss that market goodbye. There is the number one whale out there that doesn't mind stomping on the little guys to make themselves money, and they do it all the time. They are heavily involved with cryptos. They're probably one of the big whales out there, and there's a good reason why the little guys usually will get smashed. Unless, of course, you know how the game is rigged, and if you know how Goldman plays it, yeah, you'll figure it out. However, it's a fairly new market. I'm sure they're trying to figure it out as well, and it's a very small market, so they gotta love that. It's way smaller than the gold market. It's and gold market is way smaller than the equities and bond market, by hundredfold. And crypto markets are even smaller, so it doesn't take much money for these guys to go in there and move things around in the crypto markets, and that's what they do. The number two thing, it is not regulated. It's like the wild, wild west, or kind of semi-unregulated. I guess, fraud, you can still be charged with fraud, but all those other little gray areas that Goldman Sachs and JP are all great at figuring out and manipulating. They're the monkey hammers. That's what they do. They're the whales that go in there and kill all the little fish. So they are the big fish in the pond. There's no doubt about that. And they're not looking out for you. Trust me on that. So with that said, JP's in there. I think that's a good reason why that Bitcoin and these other private little cryptos are dead. They're going to take out all the small guys at some point, and they usually do it after they run it up quite a bit or run it down, one way or the other, spoofing and all that kind of cool stuff. Interesting article here, which kind of look. Goldman Sachs says Bitcoin and gold can coexist. Really? Really? Do they pay people to write this stuff or to give them these assessments? I mean, we've been talking about this for months, actually, and they're talking about now. Would they watch one of my videos or something? Of course they can coexist. It's apples and oranges. There's no relationship between Bitcoin and gold. Bitcoin is not money. It is fiat currency, no matter how you slice it and dice it. And that's one of the things that people that, and again, I'm dissing fiat, but I'm not dissing cryptos per se. I think it's a great competition to government dollars and a great way for peer-to-peer. However, don't be under any illusion, and don't, and a lot of crypto peoples that are really strong on cryptos, and I respect you a lot. If you're making money, I respect you a lot. I really do. That's what capitalism is all about, and I'm cool with that. However, don't gloss over the fact or forget or try to forget that cryptos are not money. It's fiat currency. And also, don't forget what I said about these big whales. They're going to come in and destroy that market at some point and destroy all the little fish with them. And for those of you that haven't watched my show 150 times, what is fiat money? Fiat is a currency established as money, i.e. Bitcoin, i.e. dollars, i.e. euros, often by government regulation that does not have intrinsic value. Well, cryptos are not regulated, and we'll get to that in a moment. That does not have intrinsic value. Cryptos do not have intrinsic value, just like a dollar bill doesn't have intrinsic value or a euro doesn't have intrinsic value. Fiat money does not have use value, tangible. It's not tangible either. And use value is inherent utility such as a cow or beaver pelt might have, and has value only because government maintains its value or because parties engaging agree on its value. It was introduced as an alternative to commodity money, which has an intrinsic value, and that's what gold, silver, and platinum is. Gold, silver, and platinum is a finite source only made by stars, not made by men, and it's not hackable. So, and you don't have to have electricity or the internet to trade gold or use gold or own it. And so anyways, basically what I've been saying is it's fiat. It's not money, guys. It's fiat. It's fiat, and fiat is not really real money. And if you look at it, the oldest existing fiat currency on Earth is the U.S. dollar. And that's since 1972 or 71 when the Nixon closed the gold window. So since 1971, the U.S. dollar is the longest surviving fiat currency in history. That's a fact. That's a historic fact. You can look it up. You can fact check me. So, and cryptos are so new on top of it. Well, I've got an issue with encryption too. So, they were talking about gold. Well, gold's not going to be worth much as soon as they get to have, it won't be worth much when they start landing ships on asteroids and stuff and start mining. I thought to myself, well, that's true. That's the future, hopefully, as long as we live that long and have enough money to do it by the time we're done. But that's going to be 100, 200 years out, I think, before we even start. And the cost of lifting off this planet and coming back to this planet is so expensive. We're 100 plus years before that even happens. As far as cryptocurrencies and encryptions, how many years off are we before we get to the computing power at home where we can break the basic encryption that we have now? Well, a lot less than 100 years. Trust me on that. So that's my opinion on encryption. However, I am not an expert in crypto, so any of you crypto guys, if you can just disprove what I just said about the encryption and the power of computing and how fast it's happening, and what I just said about mining on asteroids, come on, man, chime in comments in there. Give me a call at my store. I'd love to talk to you. So anyways, what does crypto require that fiat money requires also? Well, what I was just putting up here, faith. That's it, faith. There's nothing to back it, nothing behind it. It's the same thing with cryptocurrencies. The problem with cryptos as well, if you hold them somewhere with a bank like Mount Goy, I know that's probably not going to happen again. There's many safety guards that have been set up to prevent that, I am sure, I hope. But you don't have it in your hands, folks. It's not physically in your hands like a piece of gold or hidden in a wall somewhere or buried out in your backyard. It's you have third-party risk. And who is your third-party risk when it comes to cryptos? Well, your third-party risk is Mr. Electricity. He's one of your big risks out there. Who's your other risk? Internet connections. Both of these rely on technology. Both of these, what if there's a national or a world issue with sunspots or sunstorms and it knocks out the internet or it knocks out the electrical grid in the United States? And we know how weak the electrical grid is. We've been warned for years our electrical grid in parts of the regions in our country, and I'm sure other countries are the same, could go out and could go out for long periods of time. This is a danger that we still never have addressed. And don't forget, what does cryptos run off? Cryptos run off electricity and internet connections. And it's a possibility. I might be seeming a little bit, crying about it too much, but electricity loss through through our own idiocy by not upgrading our systems or old power, or just simply through natural disasters could cause power outages for long periods of time. What good is crypto at that point? So there's a lot of issues with crypto that are probably even a little more problematic than dollar bills and fiat currencies like euro, because they don't really, dollar bills and euro coins don't require electricity or internet connections, not at all. They can still be exchanged in a national emergency or in a natural disaster. They can still be exchanged for food and bread. But what if you have no power or internet connections? And anyone that's lived in South Florida and has been hit by the hurricane, has had no power and internet for 2, 3, and 4 weeks, knows this. Just imagine something even more serious. And again, this is not a reason not to own cryptos. This is just something that you have to deal with potentially. So does it really make a great form of money in the events of emergencies or problems in the world or your nation or even in your particular region? I think not. And there's a lot, again, it's a fiat currency. There's third-party risk. It requires electricity, internet connection, and good encryption that can't be broken. And I suspect there's many computers out there that can break the current encryption, supercomputers. I don't know how long it would take them. I haven't researched it. I'd kind of be interested in that. But that's probably an issue as well. And one thing that gold has that cryptos don't have, and that even the US dollar does not have, is longevity. Gold and silver and platinum has been money for 5,000 years. It is still money to this day, even though they try to tell you it's a relic. It is not. Central banks own it. The elite own it. Countries own it to back up whatever, in case of emergencies, and they have to trade with other countries. What do you think they trade with? People don't want their useless currency at some point. They want their gold. Why do you think countries own large amounts of gold? Meanwhile, they tell you it's worthless, and they try to get you into more fiat. Come on, give me a break. This would be kind of an interesting too. I'm going to research this and see if I can show this on my show next week. The history of gold ounce price comparison to a loaf of bread. Boy, if I can find the link to that, that's going to be interesting. And the U.S. dollar can't even make that claim. What's the history of the U.S. dollar really? I think that they started printing the dollar in 1865 or 1866, shortly after the Civil War. Although we did have continental currency, which was fiat, which went bust. That's a story for another day. Anyways, I didn't want to make this report too long, and I'm not arguing about cryptos. I think they're great. Again, I'm a capitalist, but as long as there's not fraud involved, I am completely cool with that market. I mean, it looks a little bit like Las Vegas to me, or a bubble market at the moment, but that's my uneducated opinion on cryptos. The opinions I did make about electricity, fiat, and all that other stuff are researched, are factual. But as far as the future of it and that kind of thing, I mean, I think it's cool. And I think people making money on it is even cooler. However, I think at some point government entities are going to make it illegal, or they're going to step in, because again, governments and banks hate competition. And really, banks hate competition. And if you think about it, banks run the world. So their opinion matters, I guess. Let me move along here. I thought this was real interesting as well. And super interesting, because there's a couple guys out there been talking about this for some time, that the GLD, the SPDR fund that does GLD, which is like the online version of gold. Really, it's just paper gold. For years and years and years, many people have said that they don't have the gold to back this up. And a lot of them have been called conspiracists. Put on your tinfoil hat. Again, but a lot, we've been proven right over and over how much this stuff is monkey hammered, how much it's manipulated, and how much bullshit goes on out there with this. So the problem with owning paper gold is what we talked about earlier. What I call it, third-party risk. If you don't have gold in your hand and you've got it in a paper form, and especially, this article is kind of it's setting off alarm bells. It's saying that GLD may not have the gold. Fine. I mean, a lot of us knew this already, but we were told we were like crazy. But there seems to be some proof out there that GLD does not have the gold to back up their paper. And it's highly, highly, highly leveraged. This is bad. This is what you call severe third-party risk if something bad really happened. I'd recommend you take a look at this. If you own any GLD, or you own SLV or those kind of things, those online paper golds and online silver, you should probably take a look at this. GLD, type in GLD 10K omits, or just pause this, type this into another browser, read this, because I think you really should. There is potentially issues here, and I don't know how that would play out. Wow. If it turned out that GLD went belly up, which I kind of doubt because they'll get bailed out. Again, bankers write the rules, so they'll get bailed out or saved somehow, or some excuse. Yeah, we got it, or just create some more paper gold out of thin air is what they'll do. But again, if they can't, if something bad happens here, you could lose a lot of that. You could lose all of it even, or half of it, or a third of it. I'd read about that. Again, it looks like there might be some potential issues. I'm not saying there is. And let's move along to spot prices. Wow, we're still up there. Happy with, I thought we were going to break that $2,000 level almost yesterday. It looked like it wanted to, but not quite. Got up and around 1995, and silver was over that 26 mark there for a little bit, 26.40 or something like that, 26.30. Maybe not that high, but it seemed like it was for a brief moment. And then platinum just kind of doing its own thing. All metals are down a little bit today, but not much. It's trading at a higher level than I expected, which I'm slightly surprised myself. I thought we were going to be in this 1830, 1870 level through the rest of the month up until holidays next week. And we could still get monkey hammered Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. It's a possibility. I don't know. I'm kind of confused by this. But if it holds its own, I think the next monkey hammering occurrence could potentially, possibly, and I'm not saying it will happen, would be before New Year's. So if you're a dip buyer and you're looking for an opportunity to buy the dips, look at Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Or look at next week, more or less, just because if you're going to see some dips, it'll be next week. And if it's not next week, it'll be right before the New Year's. And after that, I can't tell you when, because if those markets maintain where they are right now after the holidays, I suspect, unless the whole economic system collapses, which it'll take gold and silver down as well, only temporarily, I suspect that we're going to see up markets here. But again, tough to say right now. What a crazy environment out there with politically, economically, everything. And gold's a great place to be. So is silver, and obviously platinum is. Well, wanted to keep this report short. I did not. Sorry about that. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Come by and see me or give me a call anytime between 10 a.m., 4 p.m., Mondays through Fridays at 954-493-8811. Come in and ask us what the best deal of the day is. We'll always put you in it. I will beat all the online sellers, and I will beat all the local guys. I'm just a very competitive guy with bullion, and it helps you and it helps me because it increases my volume on top of that. So I guess that's really. Oh, hey, if you don't live locally and you listen to my show, try to buy locally if you can. Take the time and look for a coin dealer, even if you have to drive a coin or a precious metal dealer. Look for local guys. And I'm not saying that because there's anything wrong with the online guys. They're hardworking. They do their thing. However, keeping the money local is really important. I think, especially in this economy right now. Keeping our money in our neighborhoods, not ordering off Amazon, even if it costs you $1 or a couple of dollars more to go somewhere else, and you got to pick it up. Poor you. Keep that money locally. Trust me, it's very, very important. We've kind of outsourced all our retail. And it's not a good thing. It kills communities. So, and I believe this with gold and silver and supporting precious metal dealers locally and coin dealers locally, because a lot of coin dealers do precious metals because it doesn't take a rocket scientist to do it. So if somebody just does precious metals only, I'm not dissing you. I'm not saying that you're not a rocket scientist, but it's a pretty easy, buying and selling is easy. The rest of it may not. Running a business is not as easy. So, sorry, I didn't mean to go long-winded to you. This is Brian Kuzmar, Commercial Rare Coins. I'm going to sign off right now. If anything exciting happens today, I'll get back and do another video. If not, I will talk to you on Monday, where I think anything could happen on Monday. So, have a great weekend. Thanks for listening. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my videos and hit the like button. Thanks.